A cool front is going to work its way through the area and bring in much less humid air for the second half of today and into the next few days. If you're in our northern counties, you'll feel the effects of that today. Our southern counties might have to wait until tomorrow to get in on some of that more pleasant air. But take a look. We've got sustained winds up to about 17 miles an hour in Wharton. That's the highest one I see at the moment. Winds gusting to around 23 miles an hour in Conroe. And that's going to be with us throughout the day tomorrow. But we'll get a shift in that wind direction again with that cooler, less humid air draining in. Thankfully, this is helping us from a fog perspective. Remember just how bad it was yesterday? Well, you got gusty winds that keeps the air mixed at the surface. You can't really get any fog settling. So we're doing okay. We're reduced to a couple of miles in a couple of places, but that shouldn't be too much of a concern today. Taking a look at NRG way off in the distance, and look at that camera. It is shaking because of those gusty winds. At the moment in the city, we've got a sustained breeze out of the southwest at 13 and a temperature on the thermometer of 73. That is our average high for this time of year, and we're sitting there in the morning. We've got a couple of spots also sitting at around 74 degrees. So we'll see. We'll probably cool a few more degrees, and then we'll warm early in the day today before that cooler air drains in. This same front is bringing strong to severe storms just off to our north and east. There was a severe thunderstorm watch. Looks like it just got dropped. This leading storm as well, also a severe thunderstorm warned until about 4:45 in the morning. We don't have to worry about any of that. We're barely going to get any rain out of this system, but we'll have some clouds to start, some sunshine in the afternoon with daytime highs around 80. Are traveling, there's some areas to watch from a national weather perspective. There's a snowstorm ongoing to the north. In fact, blizzard warnings continue in portions of North Dakota and Minnesota right now. There's severe weather possible across the deep south. These first two bullet points could certainly impact travel, and this will continue throughout the day today with a small risk for portions of Florida tomorrow. New England bracing for a nor'easter early next week, and another atmospheric river also set to impact portions of California with ongoing flooding there. So if your travels take you to any of these places, something to keep in mind and certainly check. Meanwhile, we're going to get a change to our weather. We're still going to be warm today, and yesterday we had two new records. We tied the previous record at Hobby, getting into the upper 80s, and then along the coastline in Galveston, also a new record of 80 degrees, beating out the previous one of 78, which by the way was set in 3 years. And Galveston also tied the record low of 72 degrees as well. We'll get in on one more day of warmer air, and we've spent the last 21 days above average. So that's 3 full weeks. We haven't had a below average day since February 18th. So one more, and then changes on the way to come in the next few days, because we're finally going to get this cool front swing through the area and bring in some drier, cooler, more pleasant air. Slim shot at rain with this one, about a 10% chance, mainly off to the north and east today. Most of us will be staying dry, but it's going to be a weird temperature scenario where areas to the north are likely cooler, areas to the south are likely warmer. And then tomorrow, take a look at the temperatures on the thermometer, 60s for a couple of days. A small disturbance could squeeze out a few showers on Tuesday with more cloud cover, and then Sunday is going to be the best day of the week. Full sunshine, temperatures in the 70s, but low humidity. At the end of the week, things do look to get a bit messy. We have a St. Patrick's Day front that could potentially bring in some locally heavy rainfall, some showers and storms Thursday night into Friday. At the moment, we're not flagged for any severe weather, but that's a day or 2 days really. You want to check back for updates. Now, for my cool weather fans, you're going to love this. As we head into next weekend, that's the last weekend of spring break, the last weekend of rodeo, and actually as we head towards the first day of spring, our temperatures are going to be trending not only below average, but closer to our wintertime averages. So we're going to see daytime highs around 60, overnight lows in the 40s. So enjoy that last warm day, because we won't see much of that this peacefully. I don't know if it, but how peacefully they're sleeping.
That doggy was absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable, living better than most of us.
You see all the time. It's like, oh, this is how I sleep when I know I have no bills to pay, when I fly business class, when there's probably a plush treat waiting for me in Hong Kong or I forget which direction that flight went. Either way,
adorbs.
Good for the dog.
If you need another dose of doggy cuteness, all right, just the time. She was Amelia Paulhart one Halloween. It was adorable.
I feel like the little dogs are more tolerant of the outfits than the big. I had a 90-pound pit bull, and he was just not having any of that at all.
Yeah, and we've had a cat. My daughter's had a cat since she was 4, and she's 16 now, and that cat has worn every clothing article under the sun.
Cats are not as tolerant.
Yeah.
Okay, but those little costumes are hilarious. Their little legs in the front. Love it.
Super cute. All right, well,
So we got a front on the way. So areas north are going to end up cooler, areas south are going to end up warmer. We're all going to end up breezy, and that's already happening right now, but the wind direction is going to shift. Breezy out of the south and west right now with sustained winds to about 15, gusts to around 25. That'll continue, but we'll get in on a north breeze as that front works its way through. Thankfully, the wind is helping us from a patchy fog perspective. We've got visibilities reduced by a few miles, but shouldn't see any locally dense fog forming because that breeze is keeping us well mixed. Remember this camera view from yesterday? You could not see downtown at all at any point in the morning, and now you can make it off in the distance. Yeah, there's still some low clouds and a little bit of mist, but we're doing okay. Very warm start. 73 is our average high for this time of year, and that's where we're sitting at 5:30 in the morning. As mentioned, pretty quiet aside from the warm and humid conditions. Temperatures everywhere else are not far off from that. They're about between 72 and 74 across the board. If we don't cool, this puts us in record-breaking territory. Now, we're not getting in on really any precip from this front, but there is a tremendous amount of it off to our north and east. In fact, as this runs into higher elevations in the Appalachian Mountains, it's starting to turn into ice and snow. For your podcast today, look at these two cutie patooties. These are kuni pigs, and in Maori that means fat and round. A fun fact, I looked up some facts. I kind of Googled this because I wasn't really familiar with the breed, but they're the only true grazing pig that can survive on grass alone. So fun little fact there. They're enjoying their pool in Waller, Texas. And for your forecast today, we'll start it with some clouds and warm conditions, a couple of sprinkles as that passes its way through, and then some drier, more pleasant air for the afternoon at the rodeo. Have you ever seen kuni pigs?
I don't think I have, but they're absolutely adorable. I wonder how the HOA would feel about me having some.
You should check. So I don't know which one's teensy and which one's tuba, but this one looks smaller, so I'm going to go with teensy. And this looks like a tuba to me. Oh. I think that's tuba. Maybe I'm wrong. The owner will tell me if they're up and watching, hopefully. But thank you guys for sending in all of these great rodeo-themed podcasts. I mean, we have so many livestock. Pretty soon, we won't have to kind of escape these warm temperatures by trying to make our way into the air conditioning and NRG. Yesterday made it up to 86 at Bush Intercontinental. That's a whopping 13 degrees above average. You notice every single day for the past 2 weeks has been in the red category, and most of these well above average. We actually broke a couple records yesterday at Hobby. 87 tied the previous record all the way back from 1974. Along the coastline in Galveston, 78 had been sitting there, and although it had been tied several times in a row, we hit 80. So we beat that by 2 degrees. Galveston also set a record low warm temperature of 72 degrees. All right, here comes our front. Notice most of the precip is way off to our north and east, so we're barely going to squeeze out maybe a very light isolated shower in our north and eastern counties as this makes its way through. That's if any of that even reaches the surface. But what it will do is bring in some cooler and drier air. So in fact, nights at the rodeo the next few nights might be a bit on the chilly side. Not today. We're going to be in the 80s for highs. We'll cool into the 70s, maybe 60s if you're staying there pretty late. But then by the time we get to tomorrow and Tuesday night, we're going to have some cooler, crisper air. You might want to be taking those layers with you as you head on down. Thankfully, we don't really have to worry about much rain, at least not at the start of the week. When we get to the tail end of the week, if you have plans to go on Thursday or Friday, those are some days we'll need to watch for not only the potential for some locally heavy rainfall, maybe a couple stronger storms. We're still about 5 days away from this. We are not flagged for any risk for severe weather at the moment or locally heavy rain. Squeeze out about a 20% chance for some showers, and it's mainly going to be in our northern counties. So if you're around the Houston metro area or South NRG, you should be okay. All right, if you're craving cooler air, raise your hand.